Welcome to another Dolphins in Depth podcast, the Friday edition. More as the Dolphins world turns. The Miami Dolphins have a new quarterback coach. Clearly, they seem to be shopping for a new quarterback. And the question is, how will they unload the old quarterback? Joining me is Isaiah Smalls, Dolphins Miami Herald beat writer. I am Omar Kelly, Miami Herald columnist. Isaiah, let's begin this process by getting the news out. The Miami Dolphins have hired a new quarterback coach. He comes from the college ranks, but he seems to have developed some NFL quarterbacks, or at least helped some NFL quarterbacks. Tell me who he is and what's his resume.
His name is Bush Hamdan. For those that follow college football, you might remember him during the mid to late 2000s as the quarterback for Boise State. Specifically, his highlight is that he won the Fiesta Bowl, I believe late 2000s. I forget the exact year. But he comes from Mississippi State. He was their associate head coach for offense. Title I've never heard before. I don't know about you. Have you heard of that before?
Oh, yeah. They now Weaver was the associate head coach for the Ravens before. He wasn't the defensive coordinator. He was the associate head coach. Yeah. Is it John Embry or the tight end coach was Mike McDaniel's associate head coach?
I've heard of associate head coach, but I've never heard of associate head coach for XYZ.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing semantics here on this whole stuff. It's are you offense or you defense? That's what I like. Do you develop quarterbacks or do you not develop quarterbacks?
That's real. But he's primarily been in the collegiate ranks. He's been in Colorado, Maryland, Florida, Arkansas State, Davidson, Washington, Mizzou, Boise State, and Kentucky. He's been a position coach for quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, and he's even been an offensive coordinator for 5 schools, including Washington, Kentucky, and Boise State. And his NFL experience comes in 2017, where he was the quarterback coach for Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. Ryan passed for more than 4,000 yards that year, which I believe was 6th in the league, and he led the Falcons to the divisional round of the NFC playoffs.
Was that Matt Ryan's MVP season, or?
I believe it was the season after that, because I believe the MVP season was my sophomore year, which was like 2016.
So that was the season after after Mike McDaniel and they left. After Mike McDaniel and Mike Shanahan left.
There we go. So suffice to say, it's an interesting move. I don't really want to talk about that one. I want to talk about the move that happened a few days ago, the hiring of Kevin Patulo, former Eagles offensive coordinator, who is now the passing game coordinator for the Dolphins.
So we have a passing game coordinator and a quarterback coach.
And a quarterback's coach, right? I believe last year it was just one role, correct?
No.
You're right. It was Slowick and then Bevel. Yeah, you're right. My bad. My thing about Patulo is this, right? And those that pay attention to this podcast know that, I grew up a big Eagles fan, watched them a lot. The thing that bothered me is that he did not tailor the routes and everything to specifically the team. And that's what really bothered me. Like, he was a little bit creative when it came to the goal line stuff. And I liked he has this play that he likes to run where he pulls the tight end. It's basically a little flick that you do. The tight end runs behind the offensive line. It's kind of like a jet sweep to the tight end. And that's how Dallas Goedert, I believe, led his position in touchdowns. So that's nice, but just overall, and then anybody that paid attention to the Eagles last year, you could tell that there was something wrong with that team. They took a noticeable step back in nearly every offensive category. Only area that they improved in, I believe, was interceptions. But Jalen Hurts doesn't throw a lot of picks. Like, that's just who he is. He's very protected with the football. And you could tell towards the end of the year, though, that it wasn't right. If you watch the Hard Knocks, right, the Hard Knocks NFC East, it wasn't best. Jalen's never going to come out and say screw the guy, but it was as close as you can get to there being some frustrations, right? And so,
and I think there was expressed frustration on a lot of the offensive side of the ball. My question is, was he still in that same role when they won the championship?
No, he was the passing game coordinator during the run, right? So, but to me, I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, offensive coordinator is the guy that's going to basically run the offense, right? Every facet of the offense, to me at least. And granted, of course, passing game coordinator, like you're going to obviously focus on the pass. But for me, at least, I feel like the route designs and like the overall plays, that's coming from the offensive coordinator. And so last year, and let me take it a step further, Kellen Moore was the offensive play caller too. So let me just say that that was 100% is a fact. Last year, who was the offensive play caller? Kevin Patulo. So not only does he have a greater control over the offense in last year in 2025, the offense took a noticeable step back under him. And so to me, I don't understand how he got this job. I'm gonna be honest.
It's not a upgrade.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. But it's just, I'm just confused.
You're not a fan. Let's just be real.
I'm not a fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
But you are an Eagles fan. You're not a fan.
Yeah, but I'm coming for you I'm coming with prior knowledge of what he did. So that's the reason why I'm not a fan of it.
You know my mentality and approach and philosophy when it comes to these offensive coordinators and position coaches. I'm not even going to learn your name because I really don't care. Because ultimately, when you perform or you don't perform, whether you learn from your mistakes or you grew from it, whether you're a rising star or whether you're an old head, I don't care. Get the job done or you don't. And if your unit does not perform, I'll be calling for your head. I don't care. Like that's just so for Hafley and Sullivan, build whatever staff you want. Hire whoever you like, but make sure they get the job done. And if they don't get the job done, immediately fire them. That's the one thing I do respect about Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel whacked a lot of people. Like, everybody has this old Mike is nice guy. Mike McDaniel fired a lot of people. And they didn't get the job done, or they had some issue, like supposedly Wes Welker wasn't hard enough on his guys. I'm like, what are you going to do with Tyreek Hill? Because he couldn't control his guys. Okay. Neither could you, Mike. Like it's you gonna fire Wes because he can't control his guys? You couldn't control your whole team.
But weren't they coming late to your meetings?
Last year's receiver coach, they didn't even know the routes. They didn't know the assignments. Like, how does a whole unit for a whole season not know their assignments? Like this is beyond reasonable, but anyway, that's the past. That's the past. But my point is, I don't care what they've done. I really, he was a failure with the Eagles. You Eagles fans, you got your high standards. Your nose up in the air. You're a little snobby. You want your offense to be a top 5 unit. You got Saquon Barkley and Brown and Hurts and Dallas Goedert, and y'all want to.
Don't forget about Devontae Smith. Don't forget about Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith. Y'all a little snobby. Let's acknowledge that. But it didn't.
That's fine. I think there's a standard of excellence, and as I wrote in my story talking about the hiring of Kevin Patulo, I think JD left it in there. The last time I checked, it was still in there. But it was like luckily the good thing about him going from Philadelphia to Miami is that the standard here is a lot lower. It is a lot lower here. So as long as you know what I'm saying, it is a lot lower. So you can you know what I'm saying? You can get some like the creativity that you shown with Dallas Goedert. Yeah, bring that here, whatever. Like, I don't think fans are gonna call like. I don't know if you remember last year, and this was a little bit on the extreme. Eagles fans found where he lived and they egged his house, right? Yeah. That's not gonna happen here.
Hold on, the pass game coordinator, the new
yes, Kevin Patulo. They found out where his house was. They egged his house over there. I believe it was in Jersey. Yes, you do not have to worry about that here. That is, it's not that they don't care. Obviously, that was a little much. Like I prefaced it saying that was a little much. Like I'm not as crazy as a fan as a lot of them because the last few years have really jaded me in terms of like this is really a business. Like I can't really. I've been a jaded Eagles fan since the Justin Jefferson draft when we picked Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, and I barely had watched football that year for whatever reason. I was like, I know that Justin Jefferson is going to be a star. I don't know who this Tyreek Hill wannabe is, but y'all gonna grab him over Justin Jefferson. And where's Jalen Reagor now? He out of the league. So suffice it to say, like I've been jaded about the entire situation since then, but. Needless to say, like Eagles fans went too far. They egged his house. He don't gotta worry about that. Like people might fly banners over the stadium, but they're not really gonna come for you, Mr. Patulo. So it is what it is. Like
we're a checked out fan base, but the whole point of this whole new regime change is to get us to check back in.
And speaking of regime change, right? I don't know if this is gonna work as a good transition, but the fan event last night, did they do that with McDaniel?
I don't know. It would be. I'm sure they might have.
I was about to better question. Have they done that?
I've seen it before. I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen it before. So this isn't. You got to excuse me. I've been through like 5 different regime changes. Everything
all
has
starting to blend together.
Yeah, it's all the same thing to me. Yes, at this event, and I would have loved to have heard the whole conversation. I'm sure they'll probably put it up on their social media with all their little filtered questions and blah 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 blah. But the first question, which was asked by Nat Moore, who's a vice president of the Dolphins and pretty good interviewer, and Nat Moore's quite blunt, and he speaks for the alumni. Basically, it was like, "Yo, first question, what's going on with Tua? Does he have a future here?" And to quote the answer, which we saw based on a post that was posted on social media. Thank you, appreciate it. Tua's been really good player in this league. He's done some real good things for the Miami Dolphins. You guys should be proud of him, according to John Eric Sullivan. Then he continued on. I don't know what the future holds right now. I told Tua that. We're working through some things. What I can tell you is we're going to infuse some competition into that room, whether Tua's part of that room or isn't part of that room. Tua knows where we are. We've been very honest and upfront, and Tua also knows that he will be the first to know when we do make a decision. We'll let Tua know whether he's part of this or not. Your immediate reactions to those comments?
I think this is the first time that they've actually broached the subject of potentially cutting Tua.
No, they didn't say cutting Tua.
They didn't say. They said whether he's here or not. Yes, you're right. Whether he's here or not. But to me, that screams cutting him. I'm going to be honest with you. Because, I mean, like, as much as we would like to believe, like, okay, there's a trade possible, like, what trade do you foresee is materializing out of thin air that will allow them to get rid of a guy who objectively was pretty bad last year? Yeah. Like, I just don't know what NFL team is looking for a subpar quarterback.
Wow.
Who's lacking arm strength.
All right. One.
And it's not athletic.
Okay. Those are all major factors. Those are all major factors in the Tua decision making.
Can't see above the offensive line.
No, that's never been a problem before. He's never been able to see, and it's never been a problem before. So
it's a problem now when the league figured you out. Is that not true?
I don't know if the league figured him out. Don't say that because it's not fair. One, Tua is still second all time in terms of completion percentage at 68, all time in NFL history. So, and that's despite adding in his worst season, which was a.
Oh, and he's not durable. I forgot about that. One.
Yes, keep piling on the negatives.
I'm done.
It's going to be a hard sell. If Tua was making $20 million,
oh, easy. You can get him off. You can ship him out. Yeah, easy.
Ship him out. You get 4th-round pick. You like, don't act like he don't have value. Don't act like
I'm just talking about value based on his current circumstances, based on the year he had, based on the contract, based on the injury. Like I'm trying to just paint a full picture here. And to me, I just can't see. And as much as I would want it to happen, just for the sake of this organization and just being able to like get something back from your investment, get a return on your investment, I just don't see it. Like it just doesn't. I don't see it happening.
At some point, and I think we've all learned this in business and life, dating, whatever. At some point, you just gotta cut your losses and move on. I had a BMW X5. Love that car. Love that car. Love that car. And I encourage you to get you a BMW. What I didn't realize was that the repairs would cost more than the car's worth because it's a European car. And I got to a point where I had to cut my losses. And if the repairs are twice as much as what the car is worth, you got to move on. You understand what I'm saying? And I think the Dolphins are in a similar situation. I just recently wrote a column, and I've he ain't no X5 though. He come on, he's at least a 5 Series. Don't act like Tua is in the old 5 Series BMW.
He's a 3 Series, maybe.
No, he's not a 3. Don't do him like that.
I have a 3 Series. I'm staring at my
got a 3 Series convertible. It's different. It's different.
Chad, why you put my business out there? Why you put my business out there? Why you put my business out there? People don't think I have money now. I don't have money. I don't got it. I don't. I do not got it.
I see your background. I see the piano in the corner.
Wait, for the record, this is a whatever it's called, a background that I wanted. And I told Pierre this earlier. Pierre is our wonderful engineer, production guy, producer. I really thought this was his actual house. For at least a year. At least a year.
Okay. That's funny. That's funny. All right. I respect what they said. It's the first time they've acknowledged that, we consider dumping Tua, like parting ways, moving. They've always said we're going to do competition. Yeah, I've always heard that. Yeah, those are lies. Because I guarantee you, if Malik Willis is here, he's not going to be competing with Tua. That's not going to happen. Like he's got to have some guarantees that, it's my job, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way in the quarterback world. And we talked about it in the last podcast. Okay, you can say you want to trade Tua, but realistically, who's going to be interested in Tua at $54 million a pop? Even if you could, let's just say, restructure the contract and then give them the $7 million that the league allows you to give them and eat $30 million of that salary. Hell, $40 million of that salary. Who's going to trade for Tua with the massive cap hit that it's going to take? And then the next year, when you do decide to release him, your cap hit you got to take for that. Like, come on, everybody's going to let you eat that thing. And how you choose to eat it, whether you want to do it in one bite or you want to do it in two, that's on you. But that's literally where we are. I make the argument, and you got 5 scenarios with Tua. Okay. And my recent column in the Miami Herald, which I believe should be posted right now, it paints those 5 scenarios for him. You could either cut him pre-June 1st, not as a June 1st. You get 2 June 1st cuts. Mm-hmm. Now, when you make somebody a June 1st cut, you could split up the difference of how much cap hit you're going to take. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, if the Dolphins do not use their June 1st cut on Tua, they are going to take a $99.2 million cap hit, which means it would reduce their cap spending by $43 million for this season. But then you're done. You're over it. You're finished. It's done. You've taken your poison pill in 1 year. The Denver Broncos did that, and they got past it, okay? I think that's the best approach. You just take it in 1 year. You keep it moving. Or you can split it up and take it in 2 years. That would give you a cap loss of $11.1 million this season, which is manageable. You cut you traded Jalen Ramsey and took that on in terms of a cap hit. You can manage and you could build with just $11.1 million. But then next year you're taking the hit again. I worry about next year because I don't really care about next year until next year gets here. Or you can keep Tua on your roster, allow him to compete, and may the best man win with whoever you sign or you draft. Now, that's the most financially beneficial because you don't have to do anything in terms of losing money. And then next year, in 2027, you could cut him as a June 1st cut, and you can create $40 million in cap space. So, while removing his contract, that's financially the best choice. The question is, the damage has been done. We are way past that point, and the caliber of quarterback Tua is, which is a credit to him. It's pretty much going to scare away any competitor as long as he's not a draft pick. Draft picks don't have choices. A free agent like Malik Willis, which, by the way, I've looked at his film from all of last year, and I got to tell you, you mentioned earlier Sims' comment that he made.
Let's see if the folks out. We weren't recording it when I mentioned that.
Okay.
For those that don't know, Chris Sims appeared on the Dan Patrick show. And Dan Patrick asked him straight up about Malik Willis. What are his thoughts? And Chris Sims gave a very glowing analysis, called him a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Kid you not, called him a superstar, and said that even though he might not currently, it's too early to say whether he's currently better than Jordan Love. He has the potential to be Jordan Love. And so, what are your thoughts on that one?
I respect Chris Sims, who works for Pro Football Talk, and on the NBC show that they do. Respect his opinion. Respect his work. It definitely makes me recheck my opinions and work. I think a lot of times, a lot of those talking heads just say things for effect. You can't sell free agency right now because there's no sexy quarterback. A lot of quarterbacks are going to change places, like Kyler Murray and Kirk Cousins and whatever. Malik Willis is the sexy-ish free agent.
He is.
I've written a column earlier this week about how much you pay him and the history of those backups and whether or not it's worked out. And I can't find a situation where it's worked out for a team.
Other than Kurt Warner, right? Was he a backup?
Yes, but that was Kurt Warner came out of nowhere as a long-term backup. It wasn't. What I'm saying is somebody sign a backup with the intentions and expectation that he becomes a upper echelon starter. Now, 2 times it's worked was Matt Castle and Jimmy Garoppolo. However, I will point out those were trades and signs, which is a different thing. This is just a straight free agent situation. Brock Osweiler it happened to. Kevin Cobb it happened to. It's a whole long list of
Kevin Cobb.
It's a whole long list. Nick Foles it happened to.
Yeah.
Whole long list of some disastrous situations and disastrous contracts. I'm just gonna be real with you.
I feel you.
And so I did that research. I did a real research about what this guy's size, mobility, athleticism is. And you realize he's the same size as Tua Tagovailoa?
I think we've talked about that because I think we
I didn't even know. So I don't know.
For real? I thought we talked about Trinidad Chambliss and how he's like to say same size.
He's the same, and I did that as well.
Yeah,
it's like I'm sitting here like people are saying Trinidad Chambers would props to him for right now winning his court case against Ole Miss, which I think is very interesting.
No, against NCAA. Against
NCAA. Ole Miss is supposedly going to pay him upwards of $5 million for him to play a 6 season of eligibility. I've looked at the salary scale for draft picks, and he will ultimately, if he plays at Ole Miss, it's a base of $5 million. If he plays at Ole Miss, he'll make more than everybody that isn't taken in the first 3 rounds of the draft will make it on a 1-year deal. So I'm like,
and wait, I was gonna ask before you finish that point. Do you think he would have gotten picked in the first 3 rounds?
No, probably 3rd round.
That's what I was thinking. I was probably say 3rd round.
Probably 3rd round. But you could improve your draft stock. I mean, a bird in the hand is a lot better, and he's an older quarterback. I honestly don't think he would have been. He would have been. My top shelf is probably 3rd round, and mainly because of the size. And I like him. I actually do like him. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch from last season. But you know how I feel about tiny quarterbacks right now. This is a new, new discovery for me. It's
I've been down this road before.
I've been there, done that. I'm good. But then if I make that argument about Trinidad, I have to also make that argument about Malik Willis. Now, and I really legitimately looked at how big this guy is, and all 3 of them are Tua size. All 3. Now, the one thing that's different about Malik Willis is he's athletic. He runs a 4.45, or did run a 4.45. He can scramble. Now, I do remember I did not like him in the draft process when he was coming out of Liberty. Everybody was talking about him being a 1st-round pick. I was like, absolutely not a 1st-round pick. Never really took snaps under center, struggled with that. I'm not a fan of quarterbacks who don't take snaps under center and have to learn that game. It takes you a minute. Then because of Chris Sims's comments, I had to watch all of his 2025 film. I'll probably go to 2024 as well, but 2025. And I liked some of the stuff I saw in terms of he runs a great RPO. And that's, I believe, what he ran in college. He could keep it and go. He could keep it and run and get you a 1st down. The problem that I have with that is how long does that last for tiny quarterbacks? How often can you do that? In just
you think you can do that for a 17-game season and keep getting up? Absolutely not.
And Kyler Murray proved that.
I will say I think the biggest difference though between a Kyler Murray and him is that he has a lot less wear and tear on his body just by function of being a backup quarterback. So I think you could potentially
be wear and tear.
Oh yeah, I know. Of course, you're gonna have to pay that rent eventually. But I think it all depends on what kind of contract he's looking for and what you decide to sign him for. If you sign him for a 2-year, 3-year contract, let's say 4 years. Say 4 years, I think he'd be able to give you 2.
Yeah,
2 years of like 17-game seasons. After that, I think it's a little bit more of a toss-up. But I just want to point that out. That I think that the wear and tear is certainly going to affect.
It adds up. Look at
it adds up
on Lamar Jackson this year.
Yeah, Josh Allen as well. Patrick Mahomes as well. Like I think the 3 best quarterbacks.
I don't know if that they added up on Patrick Mahomes. That's just a fluke situation. Josh Allen, I don't think it added up because he was still out here doing damage.
Yeah, but he would have just got surgery, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean it happened. It happened. Every player approaching 30 is having something's repaired in the offseason. I mean, this is a very physical, brutal game. But I agree with you. That's generally why I try to stay away from the athletic scrambling quarterbacks because if you want to scramble, no, not for me. I like that you can scramble, but if you want to scramble, I'm good because you're not going to last. Now, what I saw from Malik Willis was solid. It's not something I'm drastically going to overpay for. Now, that's my opinion. The Dolphins are in a way more desperate spot. I'm not ridiculously bidding on Malik Willis because the body of work, and yeah, they know way more than we do. So if they choose to go that route, do it. And they know way more than the rest of the NFL does.
They do. Yeah, 100%.
So if you choose to go that route, God bless you. And I wish you the best of luck. I don't know as much as you do. I've seen a solid player. I've seen a solid player with a very small sample size. I've seen a solid player that defenses haven't created a book for. Once they do, it ain't gonna change. To me, 3-year, $36 million, $24 million guaranteed, 12 a year. That's it. Maybe I'll stretch it to 4, but the final only 2 years is going to be guaranteed. Now, that's my top shelf. Now, they could go do 20. It don't matter. It's not their money. And Steve Ross has already shown you he gonna do what it gonna take.
It's mine. I spend it.
Yeah. But if this fails on you, that's quarterback number 1. In my world, you don't get more than 2. Dos amigo. You get 2. And once you use those 2, it's time for a new person to get 2. So if it don't work out. So best of luck to you on, whatever you decide to do. I wish you the best.
That's true.
But like I saw it. I've heard about it in terms of Malik Willis. I don't know him. They know way more than I do. But all this talk that Malik Willis is going to come here and be the Dolphins savior, I'm not buying that. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure he could beat out Tua. He can run. That's it.
Wow. Okay.
He can run. Tua can diagnose the field. Now, does Tua have the arm? He's got a better arm than Tua. Now, but truthfully speaking, Tua's arm in 2000 and 2001 and 2002, very comparable to Malik Willis. They're not
2020, 2021. Okay.
So 2020, 21, 22. I'll even throw in 23. Very comparable. Not 24, not 25. So, and it's cool when you don't have a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah.
Do your thing. Do your thing when you get out there. Imagine having the pressure of the franchise on your shoulders for 6 years. That's a whole different ballgame, young man.
And that's why I, even though I talk in jest about Tua, like I do have respect for what he's done. And I've told the Dolphins staff this, like, regardless, even when it ended, like, it's like you gotta give credit where credit's due. Like, he could have very easily been like, yeah, screw this and mentally check out. And from what we've heard from the players, at the time, he didn't do that. Now, my only question is, and I have actually 2 questions. One Tua related, and one another one, and I just want to get your thoughts on is: do you think that if he is on the roster next year, right? How much do we see the happy-go-lucky, and he's not the starter? How much do we see the happy-go-lucky Tua before something potentially happens? Because you've been around him a lot longer than I have. Like,
nothing will potentially happen. Tua is not going to create any waves, any problems. Look, the one thing I did say in my column today was, if you think Tua is just going to, my column leads, he's not a villain, and he's not a victim. Like, he's neither of those things. And there shouldn't be hostility or resentment, remorse. Tua gonna walk away with $54 million, whether he plays or not. Tua could leave the game right now with $54 million. I think if you give me $54 million, you might never see me again. Like, no disrespect. Like, and I like what I do, but you give me $54 million. I might disappear. Like, I don't know. What do I need after I get $54 million? So, and yeah, Tua's always had money, but nobody's going to shed a tear for him. He's going to be making 3 times more than what the next player on the team is making? At $54 million. Now, if you're a $54 million backup, you're a $54 million backup. Nobody gonna shed a tear for you. Okay. Like it is what it is. But my thing is, and I also made a possible, they can keep him on the roster and just IR him and basically say, because I do believe something is wrong with his arm, or his arm needs rest, because that arm died on him. Like at the end of the season, they won't address it. They won't talk about it. My eyes are not, I'm not blind. And I do talk to opposing defensive coaches who actually have the game plan for him and basically said, he don't have an arm. We don't have to back up past 40 yards. We don't even have to play man. I can stare at all of his passes because my men can get to it. Like, this is how teams were playing him. So if you can't play any other way than that, you can't survive like that. It's not that teams caught up to him, it's that his arm died on him. Like, people, I hate this theory that, oh, teams caught up to him. He's been doing the same thing for 6 years. His arm just died on him, which, guess it happens. It has happened.
Okay. And then the next point is, I'm gonna connect a few dots, so follow me right here. Sully said in the clip that you mentioned that they will be evaluating quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. Mm-hmm. Do you know the one quarterback that has a unique connection to someone on staff?
Yep. Taylor Green quarterback.
Bush Hamden. What are your thoughts on that potential connection? Do you see that potentially, if Bush Hamden is really pounds the table, says, hey, that's a guy, I know him, I'm very familiar with him, I can develop him. Do you think that they take a chance?
That has been done before. I've seen it. Unfortunately, that's not that quarterback coach's call. That quarterback coach is not going to be fired if he makes the wrong call. So if Sullivan does that, it's because Sullivan has a conviction. That this is not even a Mike Hafley decision. This is a Jeff Hafley. Yeah, this is not a Jeff Hafley decision. This is a John Eric Sullivan decision. Like, you don't get more than 2 picks at quarterback. You don't get you can't. This ain't like, let me take 3 shots at it. No, player. Like, it don't work like that. So if that's the shot he chooses to take, he better make sure that, hey, a 4th round pick to me is not a shot. Like, that's when I wrote that column when Chris Greer went and traded for Josh Rosen, who I begged the team that day, don't do this. Everybody who follows me knows I knew that trade was coming the previous day, and I said, do not do this. Back out of this deal. It is a bad deal for you. You are making a horrendous mistake. They did it anyway. Well, that counts as your 1, sir, Chris Greer. And then you use 2 as your 2. Then it's time to go, my dog. It's got time to go. Can't do it no more. So if they like Trent Green, cool. I really have not.
I need you to get his name right. Taylor Green. Taylor.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm.
You said Taylor Trent.
Well, I don't know these quarterbacks. I don't know these players in this draft. I only know their school and their number. Like, I'm not at that process right now. Free agency comes before the draft. I'm beginning to put together my free agent list, and you're headed to the combine, and you'll be looking at draft prospects. Draft comes after free agency for me, because it makes no point. Why would I be studying wide receivers in the draft if the Dolphins go out there and sign 2 wide receivers or trade for a wide receiver? Like,
that's fair.
Why would I be studying tight ends if the Dolphins go bring back Darren Waller and what's the homeboy name that actually had a decent season? There you go. Like, okay. Like, let me why would I be researching cornerbacks if the Dolphins re-sign Rasul Douglas and then go add another top end free agent and re-sign Cater Cole? Like, I'm not interested in wasting my time. I don't have time like that. But I'll figure out who the prospects are, and I'll figure out what the fit is, and we'll figure out definitely what the needs are for this team based on how they move in free agency. And truthfully speaking, they haven't done anything worth noting. They haven't made any move. They haven't signed anybody I could project for the 53. They haven't cut anybody. And truthfully speaking, this is a blank slate for them. The decisions they make, how they deal with Tua will tell us everything. You cut Tua, non-June 1st release. Well, you ain't gonna be spending in free agency. Shops shut down. Let's head to the draft. Like these are decisions that they have to make as a franchise.
That's right.
So, and we will be here, Dolphins in Depth, documenting all of it. We will see you next week for more as the Dolphins world turns.